No one had ever talked to me that way before. Like I was someone and not something. No one had ever treated me that way. No one had ever looked at me and regarded me like a person. So, I'd made a rash and irrevocable decision. A mistake, probably. But then again, I'd been swallowing back hopes of escaping that life. The life of an Ulfrangar assassin. For as long as I could remember. That night in Thornbend had been my first real opportunity. The only catch was, of course, keeping the baby-faced kid who kept calling me friend alive too. Thatcher treated everyone that way, though. It's like there was no room in his mind for the possibility that a person really could be evil. Shocking, considering the vacant way he stared at me sometimes. Like you could pass a twig through his ear and it would come out the other side and not hit anything in between. At first, I just assumed he was incredibly sheltered or naive. Maybe he was. But after our experience with Phoebe, finding out that she had been a Tibran, I'd expected him to reject her entirely. Anyone else probably would have. Whether out of shame or fear, she'd kept that information from everyone. But Thatcher had insisted on helping her. He'd forgiven her without a second thought. He was stupid, yes, but he was also far kinder than anyone could ever deserve. Least of all me. He still called me his friend like it was nothing. He laughed and chatted with me as though he genuinely enjoyed my company and wanted me around. He kept chasing after me whenever I tried to put some safe distance between us. Didn't he get it? Couldn't he sense it at all? I was not a good person. I never had been. I'd accepted a long time ago that no matter where I went or what I did, the pack, the Ulfrangar, would always own me. They'd carved their mark upon my soul from the very beginning, and nothing could erase it. Deep down, I would always be one of them. Even now, sitting behind Reigh astride his lithe green dragon, the weight of their presence crushed down over my body from every side. They were everywhere and nowhere. They moved in shadow, lived in anonymity, and thrived on the constant stream of the world's darkest secrets. There was no place I could hide, nowhere I could go that they wouldn't be able to reach. The more I thought about it, the harder it was to justify why I'd let Javid set me free, even if I knew the answer already. Because of Thatcher, the idiot. No one seemed to know what he'd done to provoke Devana and her new monstrous minion Phillip. Maybe nothing. And honestly, I didn't care. It didn't matter. They wouldn't put a hand on him if I had anything to say about it. He called me a friend, someone who was like a brother to him, and that was enough. It was more than anyone else had ever done for me my entire life. We cruised, riding the strong winds coming in from the sea along the eastern coastline. The tower of Eastwatch faded behind us, and far below, small villages and towns dotted the hills. Most were a safe distance from the steep cliffs that dropped into the toiling dark ocean, places where wild dragons like to nest. But the farther we flew to the north, the more the cliffs gave way to rocky beaches. Fishing towns were built right up against the banks amidst the clusters of odd hexagonal basalt columns and massive trunks of washed-up driftwood from Luntharda's giant trees. Dayrise stood just a few miles inland, stretching all the way to the sea, where a large port was packed tight with big merchant ships. The vessels cruised in from the open sea, white sails puffed and banners fluttering high as flocks of seagulls.